So welcome to part 2 of the review here, and we're going to actually start with Spike here to get him back to his mech mode. The first thing you do is you take off his little hat thing, and you can see his face there, and you rotate his head there. So there is a pin going through it. I suspect maybe someone will make a replacement head for it, but I don't know if I overly care, so I'm probably never going to deal with it. So you take this and you close this up. I actually would have rather have seen them make a Spike figure and let this head pull off and put on the other Spike figure and then have an alternate head like this as opposed to this swivel thing, but you know, what can you do? So we got that. We can now take these apart, undo his legs here like so. We want to swing his feet down and swing this wheel around, and then flip the wheel so it goes on the inside of his feet there. And we can split the legs too. I don't know why we're doing it that way, but there you go. And the wheels will kind of peg in together. So there we go. We've got his legs here. And this is where all the problems are in this toy. Right up here on the arms. And I will be terribly surprised if we can transform him without things popping apart. But first, we'll close this top here. And then we'll swing this around to make the chest, and then these pieces kind of plug into the side. Not well, not in any way that keeps this thing together, really, but it does. Sort of. Like that. Yeah. So, we'll come around here, and the next thing to do is to take the arms and fold this little piece like this, and in. And I am absolutely amazed that that didn't actually just pop out of the ball joint. That's the first time since I've got it that it just hasn't popped off, because these are incredibly weak ball sockets. And then we just kind of close up the, there we go, see? I knew it was going to happen. So there we go. He's transformed to his mech mode. And it is something. Something horrible. So let's get on to the main attraction here. This is Bumblebee. They tell you to start with this flap, but I find that impossible. So I always kind of split this down like that a little, and that'll unpeg it. And flip this piece out. Now you don't want to flip this all the way out, because this is probably the coolest part of the engineering. You take what's left of the hood here, and you bring it all the way in like that. And then you can see how there's that slot in there that actually hides it away, as far as I've seen, without any actual scraping or anything, to make the bottom of B here. And we can actually go ahead and we'll push this down and flip out his Autobot logo right now. So then we'll come down to his legs and we'll split them. Hopefully we don't forget to take out the wheel and stuff like I just did. We'll fix his knees, prop this up, fix his knee, prop this up. Now we'll come to the back here, we'll collapse the door in like so, and then keep collapsing it around, and you can see you got that tab here, and you kind of have a slot here. It's not a terribly good connection, but it serves its purpose. So again, bring it in and bring it around. And it doesn't really need to, just the way this whole thing works, so yeah. And then the final thing to do is collapse the wheels on in like so. So now we'll come down to the upper part of the robot. So first start by unclipping the arms here, as they do clip in the top. And you can kind of bring this thing all the way around and unpeg the arm from the side of the car like so, and then just kind of fold all that flush. Now flip the arms around, flip the fist out, and fold the back panel of the car away. I would have liked to have seen this be grooved out a little, but I think it would have been a structural thing, so this could actually flip all the way over and kind of cover the hole, but unfortunately it does not. So again, flip the wrist out and bring the panel of the car in like so. And now we're just left with the back. We're going to lift this up. When you have this, flip this around here and flip this down. Be careful with this because it's a clear hinge on a clear piece. I feel like this has room for breakage if you're not careful. In fact, I might put some lubricant in mine so it doesn't break. But there you go, just fold it on down like so. And then you got this little tab here and this little plug there, and as you bring this down, it's going to clip in. I don't know if you can hear it. But there we go. Now we got Bumblebee in his robot mode. The instructions just tell you to kind of pull the shoulders on up. So let's get these guys back into their vehicle modes for part 2 here, and we'll call it a day. I guess I'll have to put Spike's arms back on. If you don't know why they're missing, check part 1 of the review. So we're going to start with him. We'll take off his exosuit top, fold his head back. Whether you want to do that or not is up to you, because frankly his head is pretty hard to see through this and it looks like crap anyway, so not a big loss there if you can't really see his face. Take that, fold it all the way down, and then this is where everything is going to pop to bits, I'm sure. We want to fold that around like so. Take his little wheel out like this. Oh, and we can't forget, we gotta bring these out. I always forget these pieces until towards the end. Then once you have that, you can see this is shaped that it'll fit flush like that. And then you can kind of fold it up like this. And I am very surprised that, you know, he hasn't popped to bits while we were doing this, because every other time I've transformed him he has, and in part 1 everything just kind of fell apart. So anyway, whatever. Let's get this done. Do the same thing on this side. Fold it on up. And praise a miracle that is the review gods that decided not to make them fall apart. For his feet, fold them on down. We can now take his wheel, pop it all the way down and around, and peg it into place on both sides here. Then fold this on up, so it's back to the other side. We'll peg this together. Then you just kind of want to bend this down like that, and you can see that you've got these 2 little tabs here that come together to kind of plug into the body like so. We'll bring his wheels on down so they're out of the way, and then plug in the arms to the side there, and there you go. You've got this piece of crap thing. So let's go back to Bumblebee, because this is what we really all care about. Take the gun out of his hand, and we'll start by disconnecting his back, and then be careful here. This bumper can pop out. I've had it happen before, and this is very stiff like I said. Fold that on up. Take this, rotate it on around, make sure his head is folded on back, and fold this up like so. Now we'll do this so we don't forget about it, because I always forget about it, and we'll come back to the hands. So we'll flip this around, and you can see you got this peg hole and the peg here. Just kind of pull the shoulders down so you can get it, and then peg that on in like so. And you can free the arms, and we can actually go ahead and bring this in, and we should have flipped the wrists on in too, but it didn't really matter. So we got that. Just make sure as you fold this up you allow it to clear the back of the car, and we'll go on to the other side here. Again, bring the shoulders down, flip this, flip the wrist in, rotate it so that that peg will peg on in. Bring the light around, bring this up, move things out of the way, and then once you have this here, make sure you give this a nice peg in here, otherwise it's gonna make lots of little panel lines here, worse than it already does. So we got this. We'll fold this on out, fold the front of the car up like so, and then we'll just get to the feet. Rotate the tires out, rotate these panels on out. Now we're gonna flip this down like so. And you want to bring, well, we don't quite need to do that yet. We'll bring these down like so. And one of the most important things to realize is that on the side of the legs here, there's this tab hole. Tab that in. If you don't, everything's going to pop apart all the time, and he's going to be terrible and annoying, and you're probably going to hate him. So once you got that like this, and everything's tabbed in, go ahead and connect the front of the car together. And from here, you're basically going to fold the legs in on that double jointed knee type thing to compress the car as best as you can. And then just make sure you get all the tabs in place on both sides. And that's why this is extremely important you have these tabbed in, because if you don't, these tabs are not strong enough to actually hold the sides of the car together. You need that inner tab. And once you got that, then you can go ahead and just flip down the hood here. It does have this tendency to pop the sides off a little bit, but just push it down and give the sides a little push in. And there we go. Bumblebee in his robot mode. So hopefully that helps you guys transform him back and forth. And if you're interested in the full review, make sure you check out part 1. This is T2RX6. I'll see you guys next week.